you are taking some control, what control you can take as a governor of part of this situation, trying to get Americans who are in Israel back home. And are you also trying to get Israelis out? Because I understand you've sent planes now over to Israel, and you're getting people out who need to get out, who want to get out, people with families, people with children. You and your wife and your children were there to visit and greet some of them in some moving tape that we've seen. And I wonder exactly who are you helping get out of Israel? And you, unlike the federal government, are doing it on your dime and not charging these people in the middle of a war to get on the plane. So explain what you've been doing and who you're helping and why.
Yeah, so we have a lot of Floridians that are over in Israel. We've got great synergy between our state and that country. So we knew there'd be people that wanted to get back, many hundreds, maybe even more than 1,000. And they were not getting any luck with the State Department or with the embassy. So I did an executive order last week activating Florida emergency response to be able to bring planes in there and take people back home. So we had the first plane of 271 on Sunday night. The thing about that, Megyn, is there were 91 children. I had mothers that were stranded with 3 or 4 kids. I had one family with 10 kids that they were trying to get back to Florida. Now, we didn't limit it to just Floridians, because if there's people that are struggling to get to Georgia or New York or whatever, we're all Americans and we want to help people. But it is limited to Americans. I'll tell you this, though. You can come across the southern border and the federal government will fly you all across the country free of charge. They'll put you up in nice hotels at taxpayer expense. They're not charging the illegal aliens, yet they're going to charge people fleeing a war zone and then dump them in Greece. They're not even bringing them back to the United States. So we have more flights coming. Next one will be tomorrow morning. We are taking people from Israel, but we're also going to stop in Athens, Greece, to pick up people that the federal government may have stranded. And so we anticipate many hundreds more that we'll be able to rescue over the next couple days, and we're happy to do it. I'll tell you, you knew people needed to get out, but then when we greeted people and they were telling stories, it really brought it home. I mean, I had one mother point to her 6-year-old daughter, and my wife and I have a 6-year-old as well. And she said that her daughter was saying, "Mommy, I don't want to hear rockets anymore. I don't want the rockets. I just want Florida. We got to get back to Florida." So they were really, really excited to be back. And when there's a void of leadership, you got to step up and make a difference. So we were able to do that, and we're proud to have played an important role.
Good for you. How involved should we be getting in this conflict? Because people are worried. Americans, even those who support Israel strongly, are worried about a possible ground war, God forbid, U.S. troops getting a request to go in and help if this breaks out into regional war. We're already fighting a proxy war with Russia in Ukraine. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of the American people, both from their coffers and from our blood and treasure and our military. And so even though I know you're pro-Israel and I'm pro-Israel too, there is some concern about just how involved the U.S. should get in this conflict. How do you see it?
Well, one of the things that I've appreciated about the U.S.-Israel relationship and our support for them is they've never asked us to assume responsibilities that they should be assuming for themselves. They work very hard to have a strong and capable military. Support we've given them over the years, whether it's Iron Dome or some of these other programs, that has supplemented what they're doing for themselves. So they are not going to ask us to displace that. In all of Israel's conflicts for 75 years, U.S. ground troops have not been a part of that. There's no basis to do that for us. I don't think that that's really where we're going to show support. I think where we show support is primarily the moral clarity to say Israel has a right to defend itself, and they have a right to eliminate Hamas. I mean, I have all these people out there. They're trying to magnify Israel as the problem. They're attacking Israel. They're not calling for Hamas to release the hostages. They're not calling for Hamas to have an unconditional surrender. If you're worried about the civilian casualties that Hamas is trying to inflict by using them as human shields, you should be calling for Hamas to make an unconditional surrender and to release the hostages. People aren't doing that. So they're going to need us. And I don't think Biden's going to do this over the long haul. But America should stand with them and say they have the right to not only defend themselves, but to end this problem with Hamas once and for all. There's going to be a lot of pressure from the UN, all these other places, to tell Israel to back off. but they can't live like this where they could have so many of their people massacred in cold blood. So I think that's the main thing, not U.S. troops, but that strong support. And we'll continue with the military relationship that we have, intelligence, the types of small amounts of aid, relatively speaking, when you think about it. The other thing I think we can do that could be helpful is turn on the full panoply of sanctions against Iran, particularly with respect to energy, to deprive the Iranian regime of the sustenance they need to continue funding these terror groups. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if Biden had just come in and taken a hard line against the Iranians, who knows whether this operation would have even been able to have happened without the amount of money that Iran has pumped into that area over the last 2.5 years. So I think those are two really important things. But ultimately, this is not something that's going to be an American ground war. We, of course, do have interest in recovering the hostages that are American citizens. And I'm sure that the Biden administration does have people on the ground. We've got some people that are wired for that can do that. But ultimately, it's Israel's war. We should support them, but it's not something we should get enmeshed in with our own ground troops.
The shredded lettuce on your favorite burger, the fruit filling in a donut, you may be surprised to learn they don't actually count on those 5 servings of fruits and vegetables you're supposed to be having each day. Oh no. Or like my eldest thought ketchup would count. No, it's a no. Now, I'm not going to nag you about your diet, but I am going to share with you that the Mayo Clinic says if you want to help prevent heart disease, lower your blood pressure, and lower your cholesterol or improve your cholesterol, eat 5 servings of fruits and veggies every day. This is why I want to introduce you to Field of Greens. Unlike these other substitutes, each fruit and each vegetable in Field of Greens was medically selected by doctors to support your vital organs like heart, lungs, kidneys, and immune system. Field of Greens says you will feel better with more energy, and you will notice your skin, hair, and nails will look healthier too. If you don't always eat right and exercise, check out Field of Greens. I'm going to get you started with 15% off your first order. Visit fieldofgreens.com. Use the promo code MK. Promo code MK at fieldofgreens.com, fieldofgreens.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.